Welcome to the All of Life podcast, where we explore how Oklahoma Baptist University is shaping the future. I'm your host, Niccole Hall. Join us monthly as we delve into OBU's mission to provide Christian education across all fields, impacting students' lives for generations to come. Remember, it's all of life, all for Jesus. Welcome to OBU's All of Life podcast. I'm your host, Niccole Hall, and we are so glad that you're joining us today. It's actually our 1-year anniversary for our podcast, and we are so excited about everything going on at OBU. It's also been 1 year since the launch of our Shape the Future campaign, and we're so excited about the incredible progress and momentum that we've seen so far. Today, we'll connect that vision to one of OBU's most iconic landmarks, Raley Chapel. For more than 60 years, Raley Chapel has been the spiritual heart of our campus, a place of worship, calling, and certainly transformation. To help us dive into this conversation, I'm honored to be joined by two leaders who not only understand Raley's legacy, but are also shaping its future. Let me introduce our guests. First, I have Dr. Heath A. Thomas. Dr. Thomas became the 16th president of Oklahoma Baptist University on January 1st, 2020. He joined the OBU faculty in 2015, serving as Dean of the Hobbs College of Theology and Ministry and the Associate Vice President for Church Relations. Dr. Thomas also served as an interim dean of the Divisions of Behavioral and Social Sciences and Language and Literature and the Floyd K. Clark Chair of Christian Leadership. Before coming to OBU, he was Director of PhD Studies and Associate Professor of Old Testament and Hebrew at Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary in Wake Forest, North Carolina. A 1998 OBU graduate, Dr. Thomas earned a Bachelor of Arts in English Literature with a religion minor. He then earned a Master of Arts in Theology from Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary, a PhD in Old Testament from the University of Gloucestershire, and a Certificate for Leadership in Higher Education from Baylor University. Dr. Thomas is the author of numerous books, and he is passionate about opening the scripture and is passionate about preaching as well. He preaches and teaches regularly and has served on staff in Oklahoma, North Texas, North Carolina, and the United Kingdom. He and his wife, Jill, have 4 children. Dr. Todd Fisher serves as the Executive Director-Treasurer for Oklahoma Baptist. He has pastored churches in Shawnee, Oklahoma City, Wellston, and Bethel Acres, and has been active in the Southern Baptist Convention on the association, state, and national levels, serving on numerous committees and boards. Dr. Fisher is married to Jamie, who speaks at women's events across the state. They have 3 children and 2 additional children, new son-in-law and daughter-in-law. Sure. In addition to his pastoral service, Dr. Fisher has taught preaching at the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary and served as an adjunct professor for both OBU and Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary. He earned his BA in Pastoral Ministry from OBU in 1992, an MDiv BL from Southwestern Seminary, a DMin in Hermeneutics from Midwestern Seminary, and in biblical spirituality.
A PhD in Christian preaching.
Okay, from Southern Seminary, and a PhD in preaching from Southern Seminary.
It's a lot of letters.
There are a lot of letters. Oh, I think it's a theological ministry. Okay. Master Theology. Dr. Thomas and Dr. Fisher, welcome to our podcast. We're so happy to have you guys here.
It's great to be with you.
Yes.
To start us off, it's now been a year since OBU launched our Shape the Future campaign. And so, Dr. Thomas, we'd love for you to give us a quick progress report on how the campaign is going so far.
Yes, well, it's a very exciting time in the life of our university, and the Shape the Future vision and campaign proceeds very well. Just in terms of progress, one of the goals of the Shape the Future vision and campaign is really to facilitate growth and advancement of key priorities for us. And God's really blessed. And so, for instance, this fall, we're up 17% in new students. Enrollment is up over last year. This will be our 3rd or 4th year of consecutive growth in enrollment, which is great. And we were able to launch a lot of the degree programs that coincide with our academic investment priority of the Shape the Future vision. So 3 priorities in Shape the Future: invest in relevant academics, academic programs, renew our facilities, and really make our campus life sticky, enhance it to where everybody feels like this is home, right? So We've been able to launch some really exciting degree programs this fall, construction management bachelor's. We've been able to launch software engineering to complement our mechanical engineering degree and our electrical engineering degree. All of that launched this fall. So we've been very excited to see a lot of these degree programs that we've been planning for a long time come to fruition. So a lot more going on in terms of academic investment. We start this year, beginning in the spring, our first graduate healthcare programs, which we're thrilled about. We have 4 that'll be coming in over the next around 12 to 18 months, a doctorate in physical therapy, a doctorate in occupational therapy, a master's in physician associate program, and then a master's in speech language pathology. And those 4 programs begin rolling out in January of 2026. So right around the corner. We've been making a lot of hires in faculty and staff in those programs. So extraordinarily exciting. And the momentum on that has been absolutely huge.
Right.
I'd also like to say fundraising continues to progress very well for our Shape the Future vision and campaign. I'm very excited to share that we are at the place now where we've raised a critical mass. And of course, this is an interesting campaign because it's interacting both with insurance monies from the tornado and with FEMA monies that are coming in as part of the disaster effort in the campaign. So it's an interesting kind of campaign. It's not really straightforward because of the effects of the tornado. But our OBU alumni and friends have been extraordinarily kind and generous in coming in alongside and helping with that. So fundraising has gone very, very well for Shawnee Hall, which opens in the fall of 2025. We're very excited about that. We'll be really excited to launch all of our classes in early 2026 for that semester. So that's exciting. Fundraising progresses for Thurmond Hall, our engineering building, and we're working with corporate sponsors and friends who are interested in engineering. But the big project, obviously, is Raley Chapel. The tornado of April 19th, 2023, a lot of people don't realize this. It totaled Raley Chapel, right? So that's our spiritual heart of our campus. It totaled Raley Chapel. So we're beginning the work significantly to start the fundraising on Raley. And actually, we've gotten through the 100% construction document plans, which is, if anybody's been through that, you know, it's 1,000 pages of giant construction plans. And the site work on this project is going to be massive. It'll be the most significant transformation of our campus that we've seen probably in our history. I mean, certainly in the past 60 years. But the goal is very simple. We want to renew Raley and raise Raley to the stature that it needs to be, the spiritual work site of life transformation for the next 60 years. And that's the goal of our Raley project. So we're excited. A lot of really good things are happening, a lot of momentum, but Raley's the big project coming up.
I love
and Dr. Fisher and I were actually talking about this not too long ago.
We were.
Yeah, it's so exciting. Obviously, you put a bow on Shawnee Hall. We're sitting in Shawnee Hall.
Yes.
Beautiful backdrop. I can only imagine, I've been through the building now, I can only imagine what Raley is going to look like.
Yes.
I mean, so if you haven't come to see Shawnee Hall, come see Shawnee Hall,
right.
And that you'll get a taste of what Raley's going to be like. So as we are kind of thinking about OBU's history with Raley Chapel in mind, we know countless chapel services, revivals, moments of transformation took place there. And I want us to kind of reflect on that legacy that really connects OBU to its mission. Our university is committed to forming servant leaders who, you like to say, live all of life, all for Jesus.
Right.
That's where our podcast gets its name. So how do you see Raley Chapel kind of embodying the mission for students today?
Yeah, and I would really love to hear, Todd, what you have to say.
And
on
he's
this
next
one.
on it.
Okay,
so.
Good. Well, what I would say is the reason why Raley was birthed in the heart of this campus was very simple. Our longest serving president, John Wesley Raley, he really wanted to see the worship of the one true God centralized in the heart of this campus. And so Raley Chapel, there's a reason why the spire points 202 feet above grade because it's pointing us up back to our Creator, and that's the goal. And so the idea is very simple. No matter what your degree, no matter what God's called you to, we're to leverage every aspect of our lives for His glory and for His fame. Raley reminds us of that through weekly chapels, through focus weeks, through revivals. I very personally, my life was changed in Raley Chapel because I was called to ministry in Raley Chapel. Yeah. I remember it very clearly while I was a student. I was an English major. I was going to go be an English professor. That was what I thought was my plan for my life. So I walked into Raley one unsuspecting day during chapel, and a man named Henry Blackaby was preaching, and my life was wrecked from that moment on because God got hold of my heart and changed my direction. And it was like God said, yeah, that teaching impulse that you have is good, but let's shift it away from English and let's shift it to Scripture. And so my heart began to change towards not away from teaching, but towards the teaching of Scripture. And that was a direct result of my encounter with God in Raley Chapel. I was speaking to one of our colleagues, Dr. James Swain, who is director of all of our Oklahoma Baptist Homes for Children. And he found out that was my story. And I found out just recently that's his story as well. Yeah. His life was changed in Raley Chapel, called to ministry in Raley Chapel. And that story can be told over and over and over again of young people whose lives have been absolutely transformed, and God's call has been placed on their lives. You think about the thousands of ministers and pastors and missionaries who have been called in Raley Chapel. It really is extraordinary. I also think about, we've hosted on this campus Super Summer since 1986. All of Oklahoma's leadership from churches, student leadership from churches, have been brought here to develop and grow. And just thinking about the impact of those plenary sessions since 1986 in Raley Chapel, where God's done that life transformation, unbelievable work until April 19th, 2023. And so the call that we have for Raley is very simple. We want the spiritual and geographical heart of our campus to be renewed so that we can call the next generations of missionaries, pastors, ministers. We want to see life change happen in that facility. And that's not even to mention all of the salvations that we've seen in that building. I remember early in my presidency, we had one of our local Oklahoma Baptist pastors preaching here in chapel, and they did an invitation for salvation during the chapel service. And I was standing at the back, and you're not supposed to do this, but I peeked from the back, and it was amazing to me to see the hands going up to receive Christ. That happens in that building. And all we want to do is ensure that is the work side of life transformation for the next 60 to 75 years. That's my story.
That's awesome. Dr. Fisher, from your perspective, how have you seen that mission really lived out through other Oklahoma Baptists, even you? I'd love to hear about your story. Like, how has that been a part of your spiritual journey?
Raley,
I know you're an alum as well.
Raley, from the very beginning, from very first stepping foot on campus I usually like to say, back when I went to OBU in 1900, none of your business. That's usually what I like to say. But in 1988, when I stepped foot on campus, 4 years at OBU, that's where all the chapel services were. That's where I graduated from college, was in that building. And a lot of memories in there, some of them silly, funny. We joked a little bit, but I remember sitting in chapel one day and just hearing this really loud commotion. And someone on the back row of Raley, and it won't look like this now, but back in, everybody remember the old original Raley?
Absolutely.
Had those wood fold-down seats, and it had the that linoleum floor everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was
Somebody
slanted.
had taken a giant bag of marbles on the back row and loosed them. And it felt like it took 5 minutes for those things to clang off those metal legs of those chairs all the way down to the front. And that's kind of a silly thing, but it's an endearing thing. Something like that just kind of says, this is where we did a lot of life. We would go in there as a group of students, and somebody in the group knew how to play the piano, and he would sit at the piano.
Yeah.
We'd sit around the piano in Raley Chapel, and we would sing hymns back in that day. So then fast forward a little bit, really just less than 10 years after I graduated, I was right back in Shawnee, pastoring Emmanuel Baptist Church. And now I think about Raley in that capacity. Every Easter Sunday for 19 Easters, I preached to a full house. Emmanuel would pack Raley Chapel out on Easter Sunday.
That was 1,800 seats.
And 1,800 seats.
I was there a few times.
We would pack it out, and still to our knowledge, there was a number of those Sundays where we brought our portable baptistry and we baptized people in Raley Chapel on Easter Sunday.
Wow.
To our knowledge, that's the only time anyone's ever been baptized in Raley. But people have been baptized in Raley because I did it. And, I think about the time our church got hit with a flood, and the school graciously allowed us to have all of our services for 4 to 6 weeks in there. So for me personally, those are a lot of the memories. And what I like to think about is if someone like me, who's an OBU alum, has that many memories of Raley Chapel, now you just take that and multiply it by the untold numbers of people who are OBU alum.
Thousands,
and not even OBU alum, but the students that have been there for Super Summer, that have been in there for all kinds of events.
Their families.
And there's an interesting thing about Raley Chapel, too, I think, in terms of its importance, not just to the OBU community, but even to this community of Shawnee. There's all kinds of high school graduations that have taken place in that building. And it is such a landmark. You can be way out from Shawnee on I-40, coming westbound, and see that steeple lit up. And you see it, and you just know that's Shawnee. I know I'm getting near Shawnee. And you know that is such an integral, central part of OBU. So just even the physical aspect of the building, as Dr. Thomas said, 202 feet sticking in the air on the hill there, you can see it from a long way. So the physical aspect of the building, but of course, everything that took place inside of it is such a huge thing. And I would just add to what Dr. Thomas said. First and foremost, to me, when we talk about the importance of Raley Chapel, is to reiterate what he said. All the people that have been saved in that building.
Yes.
I've seen that. I have a couple of very vivid memories. One of them stands out when I was at OBU, when I was at Emmanuel, one of the years there. OBU had Focus Week. I don't remember who the preacher was, but in this service, he preached this great evangelistic message. And then instead of giving like a traditional altar call invitation, he got down on the floor. And, Raley has the 2 aisles. He got, and his sermon, his text was when Jesus says, "Follow me." So he preaches this great sermon based on follow me, evangelistic sermon, gets down on the floor. He starts walking up the aisle.
Wow.
And he says to the students, he just says, "Those of you that are ready to follow Jesus, follow me." And he walks up the aisle, walks back, comes down, and he just repeats, "Follow me,
follow me,
follow me." But it gives me goosebumps right now. But the goosebump part of it was the students that stood up and started following him.
Yeah.
And right at the very beginning, he's walking, and these students just start popping up. And by the time he gets around and comes back to the stage, there's like 15, 20 students behind him.
Wow.
And that, to me, really encapsulates what happens inside of Raley Chapel.
I mean, I personally was not a believer when I came to OBU. I feel like the Holy Spirit, drew me to this place, and I knew I needed to be there. But I sat in countless chapels, and I wholeheartedly believe the Lord, planted seeds in my life.
Yeah, sure.
And then, obviously, that came to fruition after. But, I mean, it's a special place. And so, obviously, these personal stories really remind us why Raley matters so much. Okay, so we also know that buildings need renewal in order to serve the next generation.
Yes.
And so I want us to turn toward the future. We've talked about the tornado. The tornado really obviously only kind of enhanced the need for restoration.
Without
Let's be honest, it needed
a
some
little
touch
love.
and some
Absolutely.
love before that time.
Without a doubt.
So
there were some parts of Raley, yes, let's be frank.
I mean, we won't talk about the bathrooms, but that's one of our exciting,
You walk into the bathroom and you say, the 1960s called, they want their bathroom back.
Yeah, if you could get in there. I mean, it was so tiny.
That's right.
So why would you say now is the right time to invest in renewing in Raley Chapel?
Well, now is the right time because we have no choice.
True. Well,
I think
true.
Not to put too fine a point on it, but this is a once in a century, we pray, event that we won't have to navigate again. This renovation, renewal, let's be clear about the scope of it. Our Raley Chapel was totaled by the tornado. The insurance company totaled it. There is nothing that we can do about that. A lot of people don't understand really the full scope of the damage. There was water damage, there was wind damage, there was structural damage on the roof. It blew in friable asbestos into soft surfaces where we had to remediate everything. To bring it up to code, we have to redo bathrooms, redo HVAC systems, redo electrical, redo plumbing. We also have to, Raley was an interesting design. There were 7 different levels, elevations in that building. We have to make it more ADA accessible. So you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, crazy.
So the tornado has put us into a situation where we must upgrade the facility. But rather than an arm twist, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I don't know any other time in my life where I will have the opportunity to be a part of God's movement here on this campus like we do right now. We're talking about Raley Chapel, right? This is our logo. It's totaled. It's right now filled with scaffolding. Everything has been evacuated in the bottom and completely, it's just empty in the bottom. Why? Because we've got to put structural supports and do some other things to make it sound. I mean, it is a significant renewal. This is not a small project. So we must do this now, right? The time is right because we have no choice, right? The other reason is the opportunity. Right now, our music programs are growing. We haven't even talked about the legacy of music and impact that we have in Raley Chapel. Right now, our music programs are growing. I got a report about all of our choral efforts and bisonettes and glee club and chorale. We've run out of space. The number of singers that we have and new initiatives with new faculty, our music programs are growing. And of course, in Raley, a lot of our choral space and band space and studio space, faculty space, all of that's Raley, right? So our faculty has facilitated growth in music and worship studies without having Raley for 2 years. So we just want to build on that momentum and expand that momentum so that we have the appropriate space. And I really believe this. I've said this for a number of years. We have had world-class education here for a very, very long time. What we need is our facilities to be reflective of the quality of the education that we've been providing for a very long time. The time is now. There is no better time. So we need to do this now.
So obviously everyone's wanting to know, and maybe you can foreshadow some of these details on the spaces.
Yes.
We're naturally wondering, okay, we can see what the outside of the building looks like. The roof is new.
Yes.
The steeple, tell us about the lighting.
Yes, sure.
So give us a glimpse of outside changes and then inside changes that we can expect.
Yes. Well, first, I want to hear what Dr. Fisher has to say about the now. Why would we need to do this now?
Well, Heath said it exactly the way it should be said. It has to be now because you've got this landmark, and maybe landmark, it is a landmark building, but Raley Chapel is so integral to the life of OBU. in terms of you have a lot of classes in this
Yes,
building.
we do.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of functions, chapel services,
Student events.
concerts,
Events.
student events, cab,
conferences,
The
all
call
this stuff.
conference. Yeah.
Gen Y.
Yeah. Apologetics conference.
It would just be like imagine having a really nice car that wouldn't start. You couldn't use it. You couldn't drive it. To me, that's kind of like a non-functioning Raley Chapel on the campus of the school. It makes no sense. It's a massive hindrance if you have this iconic and very important to every aspect of campus life, academic life, social life on the school that's sitting right here in the middle of campus, and you can't even walk inside of it. You can't even use it.
It's true.
So one of the things I would like to say is it's important for Oklahoma Baptists that are watching this podcast and for Oklahoma Baptists to know. This is your university. This is Oklahoma Baptist University, but there's a sense in which you could add an S with the possessive apostrophe on the end of that. This is Oklahoma Baptist University. This is your school. This is your building. And I hope that Oklahoma Baptists will understand that and view OBU and view even Raley Chapel that way.
Yeah.
And if OBU had to go a long time with Raley Chapel not functioning, what does that say about the school? What does that even say about us as Oklahoma Baptists?
Right.
That's true.
So the time is for us to rise, for us to stand up, for us to show up and do what needs to be done to get this building back in working order.
Right.
And I would reiterate what Dr. Thomas said too. Tornadoes hit all over in Oklahoma. Every time a tornado hits an Oklahoma Baptist church, I usually try to go out there to it. It's fascinating. You can look at a building and think, oh, that building didn't get hit, and it's totaled.
Right.
But when you walk in there, you see the walls are all at an angle like this or something. So some people might look at Raley and go, well, it looks intact. It looks okay. But it really was totaled. I mean, you and I, Heath walked me through it not long after, and it was totaled. So those are my thoughts about the importance of the now and the importance that all of us who are really stakeholders at OBU and in Raley Chapel, that we understand our responsibility, I think that's the word I would use, our responsibility to make sure that it's functioning again.
Yeah. So it is exciting to see kind of the scope that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That was really your question about what is it? What's being done? Okay. So essentially what's being done is the entire exterior of the building had to be addressed. So we've already addressed all of the spire, right? So it's got new copper because we had to found out all about new kinds of construction things, Todd. Like copper is a commodity, and you have to buy it from the commodities market. This is crazy stuff. But so new copper spire, stonework has all been pointed, sealed, and everything. It all had to be addressed. New clock faces, new clock workings on the inside, tuck pointing on all of the masonry, new lights. Now I'm really excited. We got LED lights that are going to last a very long time, and they're low energy.
Change colors?
Yes, they can change colors.
You're really going to be able to see
So we can do green, gold, green. We can do red, green, white for Christmas.
There you go.
We can do red, white, and blue for Independence Day. The only color I don't think it does is crimson and cream and orange and black. I don't think it does those colors for some reason. I did. Yeah. So, but the reason that's important is because it gives us flexibility. So during football games, we can see the spire lit. And indeed, for Christmas, we can, and again, that becomes a marker for our city and our county, even more than just the one individual building or our individual campus. It becomes a community beacon that invites the community in, which I'm excited about. So the entire work around the building is done. In terms of the exterior, except for the windows, all the windows have to be replaced. All of the stained glass windows, Todd, as you know, these are pieces of art, and we want to preserve those art pieces
and history.
And they are history.
history.
That's exactly right. You're exactly right. And so each window tells a story in Baptist life and in the life of education. And on the north side, the large Oklahoma history window tells the story of Oklahoma. So all of these windows have to be really removed, unleaded, repaired, re-leaded, and reinstalled. That's going to be the process, and we were having meetings on that just recently. Well, that's not a small project, and that's going to take at least 1 year to complete.
And not a small price tag.
No, it's not a small price tag. We also have to address the interior of the building. So Potter Auditorium will be redone. We have the design. I've got an incredible Raley Chapel advisory committee of alums from each generation down to the 60s. Some of our pastors are part of that. We have a pastor in Oklahoma City who's part of that advisory committee, also a pastor in Tulsa who's a part of that advisory committee. I'm really excited about that. They've given great input all the way through in this project. So Potter Auditorium is going to be redone. Obviously, the organ will be renewed and made whole. And that's actually very exciting. That needed to be done. So that's part of this project. There's choir space for our music program. There's band space for our program. There's also, instrumental and vocal performance and choral, all of that will have space. There's also the Raley Drawing Room, which will be redone. And there will be safe space for students for tornadoes, which we think that's a very good idea.
I think so.
But so that's the interior of the building. The exterior, not just the physical building itself, but we'll also address some significant site work around Raley Chapel. And that is not a small project, because what a lot of people don't understand is how much damage was done all across the campus below grade from the tornado. We lost all of our irrigation. We lost significant storm drainage flow across the campus because of old piping. When all the heavy machinery and heavy cranes were all across the campus, it knocked those out. So we've got to address some drainage and water flow issues. We're going to do that through detention, retention, water features on the east side of Raley down to the south side of Raley. So that site work is significant.
Now, if you do that, you're going to take away one of my memories of
Which
Raley.
is?
Walking from what was Brotherhood Dorm, now AG Dorm, to the short steps from Brotherhood Dorm to Raley in a really heavy thunderstorm meant walking in about ankle to shin deep water.
True. That was a big...
Yes.
Because all that water would stand back there.
That's right.
And so you're going to take that away.
Yes, I'm sorry to do that, but that's
There
one
may
of
be
the
some
issues we
other
have to
water-
address.
Maybe some other water features
Yes.
instead
Yeah,
of that.
we're going to go into those water
Well,
features.
that's right, because it will shed that water appropriately, and so you'll have better water flow all the way through. We're excited about that.
And by the way, the renderings
Yes.
of what the inside look like are fantastic.
Oh, thanks. We're excited about that.
Fantastic.
It's going to be phenomenal.
We are super thankful for our partnership with Oklahoma Baptist. I mean, clearly, like you said, we're all in this together. I love the fact that we've already had some of those partnerships really, I mean, they're coming to fruition. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about a few of those churches that are coming alongside OBU in this endeavor.
Yes.
To maybe give our listeners an idea of how they can also partner with us, maybe through their church.
Yeah, sure. Well, we've had some individual churches. The way that and I've talked to Todd about this, the strategy is go to individual churches that have an affinity to OBU, and I'll go have a conversation with them. So one of those churches is Alton Fannin and First Baptist Ardmore. They've been very, very kind to us. We have a long-standing relationship with them. That church already has some scholarships through the church for students coming to OBU. And so I was able to share with Alton very simply, hey, we really want the churches to be a part of this, but you know your church, you know what they'd be willing to do or not or whatever, and you know this is our need. And he said, yeah, absolutely, we want to be a part of that renewal. And so, I preached and I've done things over there. But what Alton did is he developed a little, if you know Alton, you know what I'm about to say. He knows how to do this.
He knows how to do it.
He knows how to do it. So he put together something for his church. And over the course of about a month or two, love offerings in the church. And through that, gave a significant contribution to the Raley Project to shape the future vision and campaign directed to Raley, which is really exciting. And all I would say is, pastors know what their churches, how they respond, what they can and can't do, and can or can't do. But if churches and pastors have it on their heart, I'm going to be reaching out to some directly, right? Because they have an affinity. Mm-hmm. But some churches will say, we want to be a part of that. One of the sweetest things is one of our board members and advisors historically at OBU, he had me out to his church, and it's a small rural church. And I shared with him, hey, what's going on with this Raley project. And so I preached to his church, and, the church only had maybe 20, 25, maybe 30 people when I preached at the church. But I got a check the next week. And the note was very simple. We want to be a part of what God's doing at Raley. And it was a check for $500. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you, Todd, that was the most meaningful $500. Absolutely. Because that church said, yeah, we want to be a part of this. Yeah. So it's not really about the amount, right, as much as those churches that have, and those pastors that have an affinity with OBU, they're just saying, we want to stand up and be a part of what God's doing over here at Raley. Definitely. And that's really exciting. So, in the next months, I'll be going to churches that have an affinity to OBU, that have a heart for what we're doing. I'll be talking with a lot of pastors and, see what God does. But that's how they need to be a part. And we've talked about that.
Niccole, what I would say is to churches, to anybody why would you want to contribute to restoring Raley Chapel? You are doing so much more than restoring a physical building. By restoring this physical building, you are also making an investment in the lives of students and really an investment in the kingdom of God. So what I would just interject at this point is to say, what is the footprint, the impact for the kingdom that OBU has? Okay, just in my life in the last 13 months. So some people may or may not know, but I was in a very, very serious car wreck, and I've been in and out of surgeries and hospitals for over a year now. It's amazing how many nurses I've had that are OBU grads.
Wow.
The very first physical therapist we meet is an OBU grad.
Wow.
The lady that helped me for probably 6 to 8 months with all the nerve damage, the occupational therapist, an OBU grad.
Wow.
My last follow-up with my amputation surgeon. At OU, you always have a resident or a student come in. Resident comes in, really great, he's talking to me, and after we do all the chit-chat about the leg and everything, he says, it's been a few years since I've heard you preach. And I was like, okay, you are? And was an OBU student, went to Emmanuel, was there, and is an OBU grad. So it's amazing. Just in that one little window of health science field, there's OBU grads everywhere.
Yes.
And what I loved about all of these OBU grads is very unashamed of their Christian faith.
Wow.
Very proud to have been an OBU grad.
Yes.
And definitely recognized in their own life the formational impact that OBU had, their classwork, their professors, their student life here. It shaped their life. It really did. The future shapers thing is more than just a little motto.
That's right.
OBU shaped these people's lives. And so we should not think that, OBU is just about, the kingdom impact is just who graduates from OBU that goes to serve in a church.
Right.
That's just one small piece of it.
There's a deeper calling there.
So, but every one of those people that I came across, they were inside that Raley Chapel building.
Yes.
And it's so I guess what I'm trying to say is, It is more. It is a building. We need to restore the physical building. It is so much more than just an investment in brick and mortar. It is an investment in lives, and it's an investment in expanding the kingdom and advancing the gospel.
Truly is.
Exclamation point.
That
was awesome.
I know. I mean, thank you. Thank you both for being here today. I feel like that's just a perfect, really, way to close us off.
Thanks for having me on.
Raley Chapel obviously has stood as a beacon of faith and worship and calling for more than 60 years. And we do believe that together, and for future generations, they more need to encounter Christ there. Yep. And so that's behind this renewal. And to our listeners, if you would like to learn more or partner with us, you can go to okbu.edu/giving. If you are a part of a church and you would love for your congregation to be a part of this story as well, please contact us and we will make that happen.
That's right.
Thank you for joining us today. And remember, at OBU, we live all of life, all for Jesus. Thank you for joining us on the All of Life podcast. Stay connected by following us on social media and subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. To support OBU's Shape the Future campaign, visit okbu.edu/shapethefuture. Together, we are future shapers. See you next time.